my name is Laura. If you are new here, welcome. If you are not, welcome back. Thanks for clicking on this video. So today I am filming the much anticipated IKEA greenhouse cabinet tour. I'm gonna go through shelf by shelf and talk about what I have in there, and yeah, I'm super excited to show you what kind of plants I keep in my IKEA greenhouse cabinet. So let's get started. Let's look at all of my plants in my IKEA cabinet. So we'll go shelf by shelf. I have the Detolf cabinet. It's the glass one. It has 4 shelves, and I really like it. It is not like weather sealed or whatever, so air still gets in and out, but I do have a little humidifier that I just pulled out, but I'll show you guys what it looks like. I do run it about 8 hours a day, and I have my humidity reader and temperature reader in here. This sits around, I don't know, probably around 80 degrees most of the day, and the humidity tends to sit closer to around 70 or 80. Right now, since I opened the cabinet, it is reading a little bit lower, but that's usually what it reads around, and so I keep the humidity up by having that humidifier in here. So let's get started looking at this top shelf. So I have back in this corner, I'm trying to move everything kind of out of the way, I have an Alocasia Black Velvet. It has 3 leaves. This is the newest leaf. It's so beautiful. I love Alocasia. So that's what I have back there. To the left of that, I have an Alocasia Maharani, and this is one that I did get at the beginning of the year, and it has put out this massive new leaf. It looks so healthy, so happy. To the left of that, I have my Hoya Bella, and I'm not sure what order these videos are coming out in. Sorry, this is like a terrible shot of it. I can't see if I'm getting it in there or not, but it's pretty big. My Hoya Bella just has like a lot of length to it. And again, I don't know what order my videos are coming out in, but I did do a propagation of Hoya Bella where I did take 2 cuttings. You can kind of see right there where I snipped, and I tested whether the cuttings were growing better in water or in sphagnum, and that video will either be out right before this one or right after this one. So this is the mother plant of my Hoya Bella, all of my Hoya Bella propagations, etc. Right in front of that, kind of hidden, I have a Hoya compacta. It is super hidden back there. It's kind of trailing right onto there. In front of it, I have my Philodendron Melanochrysum. It has put out these 2 new leaves. This is the one that I got from Get Planty. I filmed a video hauling this plant as well as a couple others, and it put out these 2 new leaves in my care, which I'm super excited about. I'm gonna get it a moss pole soon here so it can start climbing and just going wild. In front of that, I have a little itty bitty Hoya Mathilde propagation, which has honestly been ready to pot up for a really long time. Look at those roots. But I haven't gotten around to it. I'll probably be filming potting up a bunch of Hoya propagations. You'll see I have so many in here to pot up. To the right of that, I have my Silver Glory String of Hearts. So these are very similar to regular string of hearts. They're just silver and kind of look a little bit more like beans, like little butts. And right next to that, I have my variegated string of hearts. They have that kind of white and pink, super, super adorable. Behind that, I have my Hoya Wayettii. And right here, I have my Monstera standaliana. I'm pretty sure this is the Aurea, not the elbow variegation. this leaf looks a little bit white, but the variegation on this leaf looks a little bit yellow, so I'm not sure. I got this as a cutting, so we'll see. I mean, it's rooted up really nicely in there, in that sphagnum moss, but we'll see, I don't know, what it ends up looking more like. I have a feeling this is an Aurea though. And then behind that, one last one up here, I have my Syngonium elbow. This is Syngonium podophyllum elbow. And a couple of the leaves have come in with either little or no variegation, but this is the newest leaf coming in. I don't want to mess with it too much, but it looks like there's some variegation in there. Well, you can kind of see that up there. So I'm hoping that comes in with some variegation. This leaf came in with a lot of variegation. It's so beautiful. So I'm hoping the variegation stays around. And that is it for this top shelf. Now we'll move down one more shelf. This is basically all Hoya. Actually, I think it is all Hoya. Yeah, definitely all Hoya. So in this back corner, I have my Hoya bilobata. And right next to that bilobata, I have my Hoya memoria gracilis. And next to that, I have this Hoya macrophylla albomarginata. And it just grew this massive, beautiful leaf right there at the bottom, this one. And it looks awesome. I'm so excited about that one. And next to it, I have my Hoya retusa. I know this is kind of a hit or miss for people. Some people love Hoya retusa, some people really don't love it because it looks kind of messy. I personally am a Hoya retusa lover. I think they look so funky. I just love them. And in front of my Hoya retusa, I have my Hoya linearis, and this one has grown so much. So I got this one, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, and look at that growth. It was barely trailing when I got it. So it has grown so much and so quickly. I love my Hoya linearis. I love how like fuzzy the whole plant is. It's just so precious. And next to that, I have my Hoya David Kamingii, I think is how you say it. And that one has grown a ton too. That one's a fun one. And next to that one, I have my Hoya Carrii. This one has grown a ton as well since I put it in here. I feel like my Hoya really love being in my IKEA grow cabinet. This one's super fun. Behind that one, I have a Hoya parasitica in leca. I got this one from someone locally who's awesome with leca, and it has grown so much. So pretty. So that is this one in leca. And next to that, I have a Hoya curtisii. It looks a little bit sad on top, but it has grown a ton and it is starting to trail. So it's like trailing in front of all my other plants over here. So I'm gonna assume it's happy because it's still growing and it's trailing, so it looks good. And to the left of that, I have my 2 Hoya Bella propagations that I was talking about earlier. So that's that for my Hoya shelf, basically, since they're all Hoya. And we'll move down one more shelf. I have my Syngonium Pink Splash, or Confetti, that's what it is. Syngonium Confetti over here. It's looking a little sad. It was looking worse, so I put it in here, but it's been looking happier since it got put in here, so I'm gonna leave it in here for a little longer and see if it perks up. Behind that, I have my Hoya Polyneura. It has 4 leaves. I found this one grew really quickly for me at first, and then it just stopped growing, so I'm not really sure if I'm doing something wrong or I don't know. Next to that, I have a propagation of Hoya Rosita. And this one was in leca, but I got it as a cutting, so I got it without any leca, and so I just stuck it in sphagnum moss and I just watered it, so it's like actually full of water. I'm gonna dump all that water out. Let me do that right now, actually. So usually when I have propagations in sphagnum moss, once in a while when I see that the sphagnum is looking dry, I'll just kind of drench it, give it, I don't know, like 20 minutes to absorb, and then dump out the excess water. Next to that, I have a, what was this node? Hold on, let me think. It is a variegated Epipremnum, I believe, pinnatum. It might be, shoot, what in the world was this? It might be a variegated Hartley philodendron. I don't remember. But I got this from someone who had been trying to root it and it wasn't rooting up for them. I think the node might be spent because it's not rooting up for me either, and I've had it for just months. And it looks all dry and I'm kind of sad about it because I was hoping it would root up. Come on, focus, focus. But yeah, it's just wrinkly and dry and sad. But I'm holding on to hope, you know? It's not really taking up much space in here, so I'm just letting it live in here to see if some miracle happens and it grows. Next to that, I have a really sad Monstera dubia cutting. I don't know what happened to this one, but I'm still another one that I'm holding on to some hope for. Next to that, I have my 3 little pinguicula or butterworts. I love having these in here because with the high humidity, I do tend to have fungus gnats in here, and these take care of it. They really do. So I think they already like consumed all the fungus gnats that were on there. Maybe there's one right in that corner. Oh, and down there too, there's one. But basically they have like sticky little leaves. Oh, there's a ton of fungus gnats on here, never mind. They have sticky little leaves that attract the fungus gnats or any insect really, and then once the insect lands on the leaves, they get stuck there and then just get digested by the plant, which is awesome. Next to that, I have my Hoya obovata. This is another one that is just going crazy in here. It's gonna reach the top of this soon, so I'm gonna have to trim it down or find a new place for it, but beautiful, beautiful plant. And next to my obovata, I have a Hoya breviolata cutting. It has 3 leaves. One of them's kind of hiding back there. But I have that one rooting in water. It's been in there for like 6 months. Once I have a cutting and I stick it in water, it lives there until who knows when. So we'll see if it ever gets transferred over to soil, but super cute plant. I love how like cup shaped, you can't really see it super well, but the leaves are so like cup shaped. Like, they're cute. They're super cute. And behind that, this is gonna get tricky. Hold on. Ugh, I'm like squatting to get a good-ish view of all my plants, but behind that, I have a cutting in water of Hoya Crinkle 8 and of an heirloom Hoya carnosa. And those are rooting up in water. And behind that one, I have a cutting, there we go, no, this is not a cutting, this is a full plant of Hoya Chelsea. So that one's kind of trailing along, doing its thing. And over here, I have an Alocasia Frydek. I got this one as an itty bitty baby. It was like a little seedling, and it has grown so, I don't know what's on this. It has grown so much since it's starting to get really mature looking leaves. This leaf looks like it's on its way out, but look how big these are growing. It looks awesome. Back there, I have a Hoya Wyetii cutting, also rooting in water. And up here, I have an Alocasia Bambino. It has one kind of crusty leaf in the back, so please just ignore the crusty leaf. And I think I missed this one when I was going around. This is a cutting of a Monstera Standeliana albo. And it has a little bit of growth in there, so I'm hoping it'll keep growing. And that's it for this shelf. Woohoo! And this shelf is kind of taken over, or at least the top of it is taken over by my Hoya that are starting to crawl down slowly but surely. But yeah, that's that shelf. And this bottom one does not have light. So all of these shelves have light at the top of them, as you can see. But this last one doesn't. It gets light from the shelf above because these plants aren't super big light lovers, but they're super big humidity lovers. So they've been doing great in here with like minimal light, but a lot of humidity. So up here, this one, I'm so sad about this because I know it looks a little crispy and sad. I forgot to water it for the longest time. And I think it might be a little toast, but this is my asparagus fern. Behind that, I have my big crocodile fern. This one has been loving it in here. It was getting a bunch of crispy tips. You can probably see some of them before I put it in the IKEA cabinet, and now it is not getting any crispy tips, and it is growing, and it is shiny, and it is happy, and it is so healthy. In front of that, I have this Scindapsus Trubii Moonlight, just 2 little leaves. And next to that, I have my Monstera Peru, also just 2 little leaves. And behind that, I have a very sad looking Truvii Moonlight. And that one I got kind of as a rehab, so I'm trying to bring it back to life. But if it doesn't, that's okay. I'm just trying my best with it. So that is the bottom shelf. The bottom shelf doesn't have nearly as many plants on it as the whole thing does. So let's do one final sweep of this from bottom to top so that you can see it all one more time. Oh, and I just realized before I end this video, I forgot to point out the humidifier that I use in here. I just got this one off of Amazon. It was like $8 or $9. And I stick it usually just on this middle shelf, and I'll turn it on about 8 hours a day of just letting it just continuously mist everything. This is usually where I have it. It's unplugged right now because I'm not using it, but that's usually about where I put it. And then it just mists all my plants. And again, this isn't weatherproofed or anything, so some of the humidity does escape. But that's okay because I don't want it to be super, super humid in here. That is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. Let me know what kind of content to make for you, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!